Yo, this is Soul Drum 86 bringing you another video. I want to talk about the Brian Williams interviews that happened. Normally these are situations where you get more excited for the game. But I don't know about you guys, but how I was excited my last 2K video, I'm a little less excited again. and like, let's be honest, what I was mainly excited about, is the arenas that are going to be available and the legends. That's the stuff that like really gets me when it comes to these games. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if 2K needs to roll out a different way that they if they need to try a new format, because doing the interviews with just Brian Williams, they're so disappointing, right? And I'm not gonna blame him. It's just the fact that a lot of the important questions that the community wants, he can't answer because he only works on the gameplay part of the game. Now, however, I still do find it weird that I get that everybody has their section when they're making like games like this. I'm pretty sure it's the same way with NBA 2K. You got the guys that are going to focus on the My NBA stuff and presentation and all that other stuff. I know that they kind of like put everybody in their certain things, but to not know anything, I mean, maybe it's strategic because the company knows that they haven't done anything to a lot of different modes. And so they just bring him out there so he can kind of soften the blow, to say it in a nice way that, oh, yeah, we really didn't touch this, or, no. But I mean, to me, the interviews, all three of them that I saw, a lot of it was repetitive. That's no fault to any of the content creators. It's just the fact that the vast majority of the 2K community have the same questions. So it's really, you're kind of going to get a repetitive. I mean, all of them were about a half an hour, but you're going to get a lot of repetitive questions and a lot of repetitive answers. So, watching those, interviews, it's a bit of a bummer to always hear either no or I can't answer that question and things of that nature. And you were kind of left with, we were left with confirmations in terms of community creations not being across all platforms anymore, which does suck. Like, let's be honest. There's a lot of great content creators in the 2K community, but the best ones do come from PC. And for me personally, I don't know how many of them that I've downloaded that didn't come from PC. That's the tricky thing about like community creations, is when you find those really good ones like arenas, superstars, you don't know where they come from. And a lot of the times when they're really, really good and really, really detailed, and they make it look like that wrestler or that arena is in the game by default, that's when you can kind of get the picture that, oh, this is somebody that has a PC and they're, using that. So it is disappointing because the community creations is their bread and butter. It's the one thing that a lot of people, including myself, say that keeps the game alive. It keeps the game going after kind of the steam rolls out, when, it's fresh and new. And I don't know, it just, it was just confirmation. It was disappointing, but it was confirmation. It was what we already knew, what was going to take place. Honestly, the whole interview, all of them, it was, guys, we didn't do this, we didn't do that, but we do have the island, and try that out. I'm begging you to try that out. For them to even say that is just kind of wild to me. I understand that like there's a lot of time and resources and work that went into those game modes, but they have to understand that like they have an audience that, they have to, satisfy the people who want just a straight up wrestling game. And that's what I feel the vast majority of the community is. When you look at people who want universe mode to be good, and I want to, everybody needs to understand that, yes, universe mode is not great, but the thing is that people know the potential and they see the potential and they want it to be great. And the fact that it hasn't been great for a long time now, it hasn't really been good. And it's like, guys, like, we want to build our universe. This is what fans are telling them. We want to build our universe. Like, please just work on this game mode. It's the game mode that we play the most. You don't know how many well, you guys do. There's a ton of content creators out there who and fans alike. You don't even have to be a content creator. Just fans and customers of the product. They play universe mode, right? It's their thing, you know. And I can't knock them. We all have done it. Every single wrestling fan, we watch wrestling and we'll say, "Ooh, I would have done it this way." 2K allows you to do that. It gives you that playground, even though we can't do what we really should be able to do in the mode, but it gives you that playground to be able to do what you want to do. If you want to make whoever the champion right now, you can do it. You can book the way that you want to book. But it's like, guys, you got to give us those tools. Give us what we need in order to have that mode thrive. One of the things that was very disappointing in the interview was when Brian Williams said, why they won't do the show intros. He says, we thought about the gameplay aspect and like always having to skip it. People just want to get right down into their matches and blah, 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 blah. And okay, you might be speaking for a small part of the community, but like I said in one of my previous videos about immersion, when you have show intros a part of your universe mode, it helps it feel different from the other things that are in the game. Most importantly, exhibition mode. When I'm going through universe mode, I don't want it to feel like I'm just playing exhibition matches. I want it to feel like a show. So when you had the pyro and all of that stuff in the earlier 2K games, oh man, that was awesome. I remember the show intros for what was it? WWE 12 and like 13, your Monday Night Raw, your superstars, your pay-per-views. It would even in 2K, the like 2K19 and stuff. Like when you were at a SummerSlam, right? You got to like SummerSlam or any of the PLEs, and it would say, "And now WWE presents SummerSlam," and that was cool. Like the graphic would come up and you would see the whole thing, and then you would start seeing like the crowd and all of that. Like that's an awesome feature. Like what fan wouldn't want that a part of their universe mode? And then I go back to, again, like I mentioned, WWE 12, where I loved watching it every single time. When you watch like the Raw intro and it would have the pyro going, and then it would show like the crowd, and it would be these like camera shots that were directly from the real life presentation, and the camera would be shaking. It almost looked realistic. It almost looked like it was a shot from real life, but it wasn't. It was the video game stuff. And I can't think of a fan that wouldn't want that a part of their universe mode, right? It's a part of the immersion. You're creating a show, Brian. Like, I'm just saying, like, you're creating a show, so you want it to feel like a show. That's been my biggest complaint with universe mode, is that it doesn't feel like a show. It just feels like you're playing exhibition matches and then you're seeing a cutscene here and there. It really is sad. And to be honest with you, it's like I talked about it before. I mean, this was a video I did last year before 2K24 released. And I feel like I'm somebody that speaks for a certain part of the community. I can't say that I speak for the whole community because I don't like putting words in people's mouth. I'm not trying to really take up like a certain type of mantle, but I do feel like I speak for a lot of people. And here's what I mean. I feel bad for the gamers who buy this game every year, hoping that, universe mode can have some upgrades, or the people that skip out on this game for certain years because they haven't touched universe mode. Listen, if universe mode is difficult to add to because it's the code that you're working on, eliminate it from the game, rework it, bring it back. Like how they did GM mode. Don't keep it away from the game for too long, but take it out completely. Make it your own thing and then add to it that way. They could have done this 4 years. They could have done this 4 years ago. They could have done this 4 years ago. Who's to tell, like, by now how universe mode would be if they would have started from scratch? With them doing everything. Because look, my GM, I don't play my GM, but the my GM updates have been pretty significant. I don't know about this year, but over the last few years, GM mode has had some pretty significant upgrades. So there's no telling what universe mode could have looked like if they would have just taken it out completely Said something to a fan, make like to the fans, like right, make put out a tweet or something, some type of write up about it, and say, look, we're taking out universe mode because we want it to be great for you guys. So blah 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 blah. We're instead of universe mode this year, we've added in create a pay-per-view. Create a show and create a pay-per-view so we can still give our fans something to do for now, and then we'll bring universe mode back when it's ready. But for now, we're going to give you create a show, create a pay-per-view. Bada boom, bada bing. It's that easy. It's that easy. Now, I get it. You're bringing in, like, create a pay-per-view, create a show. It's bringing in a whole new mode. But to me, create a pay-per-view or create a show it doesn't take as much time to develop like a universe mode does, because a universe mode has a calendar and it has rivalries, it has all of this other stuff. But like create a pay-per-view, it used to be simple back in the day. You just set up how many matches you want. You set up where the pay-per-view was going to be, like what pay-per-view it was. You set up, what arena you were going to use. And I remember in SmackDown versus Raw series, if you did a creative pay-per-view, they would actually give you a little video package before the show, which was actually nice. And I'm not even expecting anything like that, because I used to just do creative pay-per-view all the time on No Mercy, and it did none of that stuff. You just played through your matches. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I left the way I went away from those interviews. Like my takeaway was that I'm not more excited about the game. If anything, I'm a little less excited. And again, I just feel bad for the community as a whole, because there's things that we have been asking for time and time again, right? In championship matches, can the title be ringside and we can use it? Can the ring bell be a weapon again? I'm pretty sure a lot of people like me, the old school heads, we want to recreate Macho Man and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Remember when Macho Man was destroying Ricky the Dragon Steamboat's throat with the ring bell and all of that other stuff? We want to recreate those moments. And it's disappointing that we don't get that. And time again, 2K just kind of, I know a lot of people, whether you want to call them shills, the fanboys, I know they get upset when we use words like lazy or they don't listen. And Brian Williams in all these interviews, he always says that they listen to the fans. Yes, you're listening. You could be reading, watching, and taking in what the community is saying, but why isn't anything being done about it? We can't stack tables. We can't have the titles at ringside. We don't have the ring bell at ringside. Why? Why can't we do these things? Yet we can go over by the commentator's table, and whoever the ring announcer is and the timekeeper, they can get up from their seats and we can take their chairs, but you can't put the titles there during the title match. The only time that we can use the belts is if we interrupt an entrance and we use the belt on somebody that way. It's the only way that you can use a title in 2K. It's these little details that it's like, okay, there's some little things that they get and they bring back, and it's much appreciated, but then it's like, where's the other stuff at? I'm very excited that they brought back chain wrestling, right? I'm very excited about that. I'm excited that they, for the most part, got rid of the stupid stances where they're bouncing around. Like Brian Williams said that that's only going to be when they're engaging with each other. But other than that, you're going to see the wrestler walk around normally. And I like that, because I miss that. I really do. I really do miss that. So those are welcomed, I don't know if you want to say changes or, changes, things that they've brought back. Those are welcomed additions. It's awesome that they put the Prime bottle there, the Prime station, and you can use the Prime bottles as weapons. That's all good. But if you did it for the Prime bottle, why couldn't you just do it for the ring bell and for the championship? Because what they're not understanding is that fans want to recreate the things that they've seen, whether they want to recreate the stuff that they've seen growing up, whether they want to recreate the stuff that they see from a weekly basis. I know me personally, I would love to just recreate or even just do my own thing. But in the realm of doing my own thing, you're doing things that you kind of saw growing up. That's how we all are, right? When we play simulation games, we typically want to play the way our favorite team plays or whatever. Sometimes people just want to have the freedom to do whatever they want to do. And I actually like that as well. Like there was a time when you could play NBA 2K, for example, and if a team wasn't a running gun team, you could play that way. And sometimes most likely you would be successful, but they've kind of, the way that they've made that game, which isn't a totally bad thing, it kind of makes it to where you have to play like how that team plays just because of the way everything is set up. That's just, I don't know. That's just how I see it. But I don't know, man. I walked away from the interview not any more excited, right? It was just kind of wow. Like, you want us to play the island. It's that's what it really came down to. You want us to play the island. I can tell you right now, I'm not touching that game mode, man. I'm not doing it. I know there's a lot of people that are going to probably boycott. I'm personally just not going to get the game for full price. That's how I'm doing this. I'm still going to wait. Right, you're not going to really see. It's going to be a little bit. Give it about maybe a month before you see anything 2K25 related on the channel. But I'm not getting this game for. I'm not spending $100 for it. I'm not spending $130 for it. I am gonna get the physical copy because that's the one that I want, just because it is the physical copy of the game. But I'm not even spending $75 for this game. It's gonna either be a sale or I already right now. I have, gosh. I have two. Actually, I have about three games that that I don't mind trading away to get that price down, man. And the price has still got to be right. Like when I trade it in, if the price ain't right, it's going to be a little bit longer before you see 2K25 on this channel, man. And I'm gonna let everybody know what I spent on it too. I will let everybody know what I spent on the game. I will be that transparent because I'm not. After the interviews yesterday, this is not a game that I'm going to be spending the full price for any version of. It's just not happening. But yeah, man. I don't know, man. You guys let me know how you feel. I just wish that maybe when Brian Williams does these interviews, they bring other people with him. Like bring the my GM, somebody that heads the my GM side of it, and bring somebody that heads the universe mode side of it. So all three of them, it could be like a conference. So when there's certain questions that are asked, that person can then jump in and say, okay, I got this because they asked a question about this. I got this because they asked a question about this. Or Brian can say, hey, I got this because this is a gameplay question. I wish that it was done more like that, because if they keep doing this format where I almost feel bad for the guy. Like he's coming out, he's trying to promote the game, but then he can't really give us the answers that we want. And then the answers that we do get, honestly, they're really not great answers. They're really not. Nothing is ever explained really in detail. And we never really know, how far the information like goes. He was asked about new tag team entrances, I'm guessing for like custom wrestlers, and he says, oh yeah, we got more, but like there's nothing really like specific. There's no elaboration on top of that. There's a lot of questions, again, like I mentioned earlier in the video. There's a lot of no, not this year, but we're working on it, or I can't answer that, because that's not what I do. I'm the gameplay guy. It's just a lot of that, and then overall, at the end of it, it just becomes a big kind of like almost sadly a waste of time. It turns into just being a waste of time. We're better off with the ringside reports that we get whenever they drop any kind of new information. So I don't know, man. 2K, like I always said, when 2K adds something new, and they've done a lot to it, and I'm talking both 2K games, they will talk about the things like ad nauseum, and they will be very, very excited about the things that they have added. That's why we've gotten so much information about the island and stuff like that. Like when they do something, you can tell. So you can kind of tell that there's really not much to universe mode other than the PLEs being 2 nights and promos being back. And if promos are only going to be done in the ring, that's still kind of disappointing, because give us options to do promos backstage. Like fans want to be able to mix it up. Fans want to be able to mix it up, man. Oh, and going back to the show intro before I leave this, because I really do disagree with the way Brian answered this question when he was talking. Um, the way he answered it was like, okay, we're deciding for you that you don't want show intros because of, clicking through it and letting you just start your show. Well, first off, have it be a toggle, right? Like have it be a toggle feature. You can toggle on or off that you want show intros, or better yet, show intros you could skip before. You didn't have to watch show intros. So if somebody wants to skip it, then they can skip it. But you leave it there for the people who want it there. I've said this before in a video a long time ago. Just one of the things, it may not be the main thing. You guys let me know in the comment section if it's the main thing for you. As a gamer, the one thing that gamers really appreciate is freedom. Gamers appreciate freedom. We don't typically like the restrictions. We want things to where it's like, okay, this is in the game. It's great, but I don't have to really do anything with that. Or if you're on the other side of it, oh, I'm so happy that this is in the game because I'm going to definitely utilize this. Gamers like freedom. So instead of telling us you don't want to add in show intros because you think that it's going to be tedious for us, when there's a large part of the community that wants the show intros back, then shouldn't it be kind of like a customer friendly kind of experience? When you go to like a store or a restaurant, I'm not necessarily trying to preach the customer is always right, because the customer isn't always right. But as any working business, any proper business works, you want to be able to satisfy the customer. That's kind of like business 101. Like if you have a business of any kind, you want the customer satisfaction to be the number one priority, because if the customers don't like your product, or if they're not happy, then they're not going to spend money. They're not going to patronize like the thing that you're trying to do. So I don't know. Freedom, man. Don't tell us the show intros are going to be tedious and get boring over time. That doesn't matter. It's the same logic that Madden has and why their halftime shows are a joke. Thank God that NBA 2K still takes their halftime shows serious, because there's gamers who want that feature there. Yeah, there's going to be times where you skip through it, but for the most part, I know I'm somebody who watches all of that stuff. The halftime interviews that they added in NBA 2K, the halftime show with Shaq, Kenny, and Ernie, I watch that all the time. And you play Madden and they just do this really quick, fast. There's nothing there. And their logic is the same. Oh, well, people skip through it. That doesn't matter. You still add it because there's going to be a large part of the community, the large part of the fan base who actually wants that there. Because why? They want to be immersed into it. Brian Williams, Lionel Jinx, a lot of those guys always say that they try to make 2K exactly how the product is. But yet there's so many things that they can do in real life that you can't do in the game. So you're really not making it just like how the product is. If you were doing that, then Universe Mode would have shots in between matches of showing just the commentators. The camera is on the commentators and they're talking about a match that's coming up. Things like that. If you want to talk about what's on the product and what they're doing and imitating that, then your presentation would be a little bit better. I'm just saying. Not trying to be the bad guy here. I'm just speaking the facts. It's not really meant to be a rant video, but it's just one of those things where it's like, man, time and time again, it's like 2K is going to just be 2K. At the end of the day, it is just going to be 2K. I cannot wait for Ultra Pro Wrestling. I really can't. I really can't at this point. That's what that interview did. When I watched those 3 interviews, honestly, that's what it was. It was like, well, I really can't wait until Ultra Pro Wrestling. Like that, because that game is a game, like I said before, that game is made for us. It may not be everybody's cup of tea. People might not like the Aki engine and all of that other stuff, but for what they got planned for that game, the legendary story mode and all of that stuff, man, I'm telling you, uh, it just that right now is really the game that is for me. Wrestling Code, we don't know nearly enough about that yet. Um, I'm still excited about that game, but I don't know, man. I wish that 2K's priorities were in a different place. It looks like they finally fixed online. We don't know yet, but it looks like they finally fixed online because of the island. However, why did it take for the island for them to finally get that together when so many fans for so long who play the game online always talked bad and poor about how bad the online servers are? So you see what I'm saying? It's like they didn't want to fix the online servers until it suited them, until they said, you know what, let's make a mode where we can get more money off of our customers. Now we have to fix the online servers. But in years past, for all of the wrestling gamers who like to play online, whether it's with friends, whether it's with randoms, you gave them a shitty experience without ever fixing anything, without ever putting the time and resources into fixing it. But now that you got the island, now it's going to be great. It's probably going to work fantastic because they added this mode. I have no doubt in my mind that the servers are going to be fantastic, but look at what it took for them to do it. They had to make it benefit them, not benefit us. So for everybody who loves to praise 2K and it's not that bad and it's blah, 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 they can only do so much. Just pay attention to the things that are happening right before your very eyes. When you see these developers talk in these interviews, listen to what they are telling you. Nothing is being addressed that everybody has wanted to be addressed. Yes, they brought promos back, but we still don't even know how promos are going to be. Makes me wonder if they're even proud of how promos turned out this time. Because if you're bringing promos back, you would think that they would kind of be hype about that. We should have already had a trailer. Oh, look at the promos. Look at how they are. Blah, 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 blah. You could do this. You could do that. You can have promos in the locker room. You can have promos in the backstage area. In front of the screen where it says like Raw or whatever behind them. And you can do the promos in the ring now. What's the options that they talked about? We still don't know. We just have that write-up of what it does. How significant is the 2-night PLE? Do the PLEs actually go together, or is it as simple as you can just have a PLE back to back? Is it going to be something that really is it going to be like a significance that there's two like WrestleManias or two SummerSlams? Or is it just going to be as simple as a SummerSlam being Saturday and then a SummerSlam being Sunday? Like, we don't know. They're not talking about it because they know that it's nothing special. That's my thoughts behind it. They know that it's nothing special, so that's why they won't talk about it. But it is what it is. I mean, honestly, it is what it is, man. I can keep going on and on and on and on and on and on and on. Listen, man, I'm going to get this game. You will see the content on this channel. But trust and believe this game will be paid for like $30. I'm not getting this game at full price. It's not worth it. In my opinion, it's not worth it. And I know a lot of people feel the same way. There's people that are going to skip it all together. Sadly, wrestling games are the games that I play. All the other games that I have, I've either beaten it or it just is what it is. But wrestling games is what I play. I showed you guys the video. People that if you're new to the channel, I got a lot of action figure stuff. I got an action figure video coming out soon after this. But and I have videos where I show my wrestling video game collection. I still have a huge collection of wrestling games. It's what I play. It's what I play. It's my favorite type of game to play. Outside of when I was playing NBA 2K, it's always been wrestling games. Always. So it is what it is, man. Let me know what you guys feel in the comment section, man. Did the interview make you hyped? Did it leave you a little bit disappointed? Let me know how you feel, man. It's your boy Soul Drum 86, and I'm out. Peace.